Hello, we're back. How are you? I have a very special guest, a young man who's very creative, a young man that's on a mission to educate, to empower, and to transform lives with his idea and his concept. Eric Majette. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Brown. How are you?
I'm blessed to be in the presence of greatness, my brother.
All right. It's a pleasure.
Yes, Eric, when did you come up with your concept? And I want you to share with everybody what you put together.
Okay, great. Well, there's several pieces. I actually started probably around, oh gosh, it's been 30 years now. This actually, I just had my 38th birthday. I started at 8 years old. My very first pen pal was Lena Horne, and I started collecting from there. So I have the pleasure of being who
Tell people what you started collecting.
Yes, sir. I have the pleasure of being who Dick Gregory named as the keeper of the jewels. He named me that because I've dedicated my life to collecting and buying back Black history. So that was how I started. As I said, Lena Horne was my first pen pal. And from there, it just kind of compounded. And now I have upwards of about 10,000 pieces of original African-American history.
Wow. And so where have you taken this?
Well, I've taken it all over the world. I've lived in China for 2 years. I actually went over to China to create international trade lines for Black businesses. And one of those goals was to actually manufacture my first book. So I've created a book and
hold it up again. Just a minute. Take your time, brother. Okay, it says this business called Living. Tell us about that. Refill. What's the subtitle?
It's a refill when the well runs dry.
Refill when the well runs dry.
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of people's well has run dry.
Absolutely. And
right about now, they need your help. So how do you refill?
Definitely. Well, this book, it was a personal thing for me. It really was something that I found myself being the resource for a lot of people. People were drawn to me for information, and they needed to unload, and they needed somebody, a listening ear, to actually kind of cast their cares on a physical person that they could cast their cares on that they knew would not repeat it. And I found like a lot of visionaries and a lot of people tend to be that, but who do we have to go to? You know, so that was one of the basis of me writing this book. This book was a testimony for me and a project for me to show that I could do anything I put my mind to. I had writer's block for about 10 years, couldn't write anything. I had a confirmed contract with a publishing company that allowed me to do 2 chapters in a compilation book on the history and life of Thomas Dorsey. And I couldn't do it. Literally, they came after me for about 8 months, and I literally could not write. I did the actual the outline and gave them a fantastic outline. They accepted it, but I couldn't write it. And for 10 years, I struggled with that. I was working in the entertainment industry, and it's funny. The other day, you called me the Tyler Perry of Black history, and I actually started my career off in film and television with Tyler Perry in the beginning years. So I actually helped move him from his first office building into his first studio, or the building that we built into the first studio. And I've been with him at that time was 4 years straight, and we did probably about somewhere around 10, 15 movies, TV shows, talk show, everything you can think of in that time period. And I found myself burned out. I literally was able to help a lot of other people succeed and reach their goals, but I literally left my goals behind. And I had to figure out a way to fill my well. And that's kind of what I've learned. And this, one of the subtitles of the actual book is 92 Nutritional Nuggets, Promise Passages, and Guiding Principles to Thrive On. And basically, this book is a compilation of all the nuggets that I've learned, all the lessons that I've learned through the years in my 28 years in entertainment and also collecting.
When you think about this collection you put together, what has been response when people have seen it and been exposed to these items that you have accumulated over the years?
Oh boy, for the book or for the actual museum?
For the museum.
Oh, for the museum. Oh my God. I've met responses from every walk of life. Most of the people are moved to tears because one of the things that I make sure that I do is I invoke the presence and spirit of our ancestors. And I wanted people to have an intimate relationship and interaction with our history, because a lot of times they've heard some history, they heard some things, they've seen what was written in history books, which were not completely, accurate. And then a lot of times I really wanted them to have the experience to walk away with an intimate experience with history, making history come alive.
Are there any efforts to incorporate our history? Because we really don't have Black history in our school systems. We have Black History Month, which is just a farce.
Absolutely.
They repeat the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Claude Bethune, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Martin Luther King,
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. You'll hear anything about Nat Turner. All right.
Exactly. Those are the more interesting, exciting, figures in history, or even just to invoke it personally. Those are our ancestors that we can call on. The strength, the power, the might, determination. That's why I found that this project that I'm doing, this movement, is so important. You quoted last week. I think it was last week, you quoted Elijah Muhammad. And one of the main tenets of his program was about self-determination and also, building up self, having knowledge of self. And that's so important. I've realized how transformational that is in itself, especially, can you imagine the information that we've been able to adopt as adults? Can you imagine a young African-American child having that power, accessing, tapping into that, how that can change their life and their trajectory?
Yes, without any question. I want you to hold your book up again, The Business of Living.
Yes, sir.
Now, how can they get this book?
They can actually get this
called Living.
They can actually get this on Amazon, but also they can go directly to the Black History Archives, and they can order it directly through the website. And that actually comes with a signed copy from me. Amazon, I still ship out, but those are actually just, regular copies of the book. But if you order directly from me at blackhistoryarchives.com, it will be a signed autographed book.
Now, what if people would like to see your display in their area? How do they reach out to you?
They can actually go to the website as well. That's blackhistoryarchives.com. And we actually have a tab on there where you can actually book a exhibit in your area. And
what does your exhibit consist of?
Oh boy, because of the mass collection that I've been blessed to be able to collect and just rescue, in a sense. It's a completely customizable experience. We have upwards of about 10,000 pieces to be able to construct any type of display that you can imagine. We've done a more recent exhibit has been the M Cubed, which is Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and Madam C.J. Walker. That's an experience that I just did for, I think it was the Foundational Black American Convention here in Atlanta. During COVID, you had 5,000 Black people that came out socially distanced with masks on, which is absolutely amazing. And I was able to present about, I think for that we did about 36 pieces for that particular experience.
I'm gonna ask your name. I'm gonna give you a Black quiz history question. You know who Rebecca Lee was?
Rebecca Lee. I'm not familiar with Rebecca Lee.
Check it out.
Rebecca Lee. I'll write that down right now.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Now, your website is
blackhistoryarchives.com. And on there, you'll be able to see a nice survey of the different pieces that we have in the museum. Behind me, you'll see Dr. King here, an autographed picture of Dr. King, along with one of his colleagues that graduated seminary with him. And then on this side, you can't really see it too well, but this is actually a signed 2-page letter from Malcolm X to Elijah Muhammad.
What about the Black History Month coming up?
Yes.
People who want to book you for coming out to speak and as well as bring your display, you suggest the same process for them to contact you?
Yes, sir. They can reach me at blackhistoryarchives.com, or if they want to email, they can do eric@blackhistoryarchives.com.
Eric, you have such presence and charisma, and you're just an incredible young man with a sense of mission. We need more like you.
Thank
you so much, and we want to support you. And anytime you're going to be anywhere that we can let people know, please let us know so that we can promote that or have you come on and talk about it. And all the power to you for the difference you're making and reminding us when you have a strong sense of self that gives your life a sense of purpose. When your life has a sense of purpose, that gives your life a sense of direction. Yes, know thyself. That's so real. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you. Oh, one other question.
Yes, sir.
When did you decide this is what I want to do with my life?
Ooh. um, I never actually had that chance. This was something I knew. Even at the age of 8, I knew I would be doing what I was doing. At the age of 8, I was actually raised by my grandmother, my great grandmother. That experience left me wanting to know who I was. So I started off in genealogy. That's really how I started off, trying to figure out who I was. I wanted to know who I was and where I came from. And from that, I literally grabbed a whole notebook of my family's history that after my great grandmother passed away in 2004, a year later, I was able to reunite our whole family that had been separated for over 100 years.
How did you do it?
I actually, before Ancestry.com came out, there was a software that was, you remember the floppy disk and the hard disk on the old computers? Well,
Yeah.
those, I uploaded that stuff as we went along, and they actually took our data and created Ancestry.com. So I was amongst the early ones that actually helped to build that software by importing our family history into it. But that's actually how we started. I kept everything going and just created a log that eventually, once Ancestry launched its website, another family member that we had met through Change during the genealogy website in the early days of the internet found and reached back out to me 10 years later. And we connected some names that my great grandmother told me from her grand uncles and aunts. So it literally went back to a story that was very interesting, if you don't mind me sharing that. Her uncle was accused of killing a white man in Dothan, Alabama, where they were. So he fled. He went to Mississippi, took on the name of the man that he was accused of killing. Then they migrated during the Great Migration up to Chicago, and they had landed in Peoria. And so they had been separated for a while after her mother had died. They were keeping in contact. My great grandmother moved to New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey in 1915 with her siblings and her parents. And they kept in contact until her mother actually, who was a cleaning lady, actually fell out of a window cleaning windows. One of the white children that she was watching at the house was asking her questions. She lifted up the window and wound up falling out of it. That's how the family disconnected during that time period. But, almost 100 years later, I had a part in reconnecting both sides of the family, and we had a family reunion.
Your relative killed a white man and moved to Mississippi and took on his name.
Yeah.
That's shrewd, my brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be thinking.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, I can't go by my name, so I might as well go by his name.
Oh my goodness, man, that was smart. Okay. Yeah. Listen, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Continue the great work you are doing. You have something special. You've got greatness in you. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, sir.
Bye for now.
All right. Take care.
All right. Boy, this thing called life. There's some interesting stuff out here. Oh, give him your full name again, please.
Yeah. My name is Eric Majette. Again, I have the pleasure of being the keeper of the jewels. And you can reach out to me at blackhistoryarchives.com.
Eric Majette.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, this has been a very interesting day today. Don't kill nobody and take their day.